All right. What is going on, everyone? Welcome. Make sure everything is looking good, sounding good. Hopefully my mic isn't too loud. I think we're good. Guys, let me know in the chat if everything is looking good and sounding good. My camera was being a pain. I couldn't get it to focus right, and I looked like a green goblin. So I think it's good now. There was something up with the lens, but I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. All right, let's go, my friends. Welcome to the Doom Rattle. Welcome to the Doom Scroll. That is the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency bull run, because during these times where we start to peak out a little bit, things start to get a little euphoric temporarily, and then the moment we even dip just a little bit, people call for the top. They call that it's over. But it just wouldn't really make too much sense to call for a top or that everything is done, because the institutions are loading back in the truck up. They're loading the truck up to the cryptocurrency exchanges, to the OTC desks, to the stablecoin minters. They are backing the trucks up. So I think, Stay Calm said, everything's going to zero. Steve Randall says, hey, Coinbase isn't bearish. Coinbase stated the current market conditions now suggest a full potential shift into a full-scale altcoin season. So yes, this actually could be coming down the pipe. We might actually get the altcoin season, but right now it definitely looks like we're about to just go down into the tubes. So we're gonna give you the charts here. We're going to give you some technical analysis. We're going to show you the levels that could be potentially being hit here. We saw that we had a downtrend on Bitcoin. If you look at the 45-minute chart here, yes, we will talk to the devs. We'll talk to the Bitcoin devs, and we'll make sure the dev will continue to dev, and we'll be okay. So this is what is interesting. We're getting a nice consolidation on Bitcoin. We hit so if you look at the 45-minute chart, you can see we had a bearish divergence. We had a high and then a higher high not being able to sustain, and we hit some resistance here. And you can actually kind of see the inverse correlation on the RSI. So if you ever have a price structure that looks like this, with a downturn, you look at the RSI and you can see if we were overbought, and then you can see that we have the opposite correlation pattern going from left to right, from the price going here and going up, and then the inverse correlation on the relative strength index, where you have a high and then a lower high on the RSI, which means that the strength wasn't there. And so now we had, if you're looking at the current prices here and looking at the MACD setup, we have successfully done a bearish MACD cross. So whenever it's bullish, the blue line right here, if you're looking at a MACD, the blue line, whenever it crosses the orange, it's bullish. We're in some more bullish territory, and there we go. So my color is off. Color is being so weird with my camera. But yeah, so whenever we have a bearish cross, we have the orange line crossing over the blue, and then we get into some selling pressure with the histogram going red. We get the buyers getting a little exhausted here. You can see they got exhausted, and we weren't able to sustain the price action. So if you can see the downtrend here, we drew this trend line. We said this could be the last time, if you're watching the live streams recently, we said this could be a potential case scenario where we trend down. Man, it went right to the money too. We drew this pattern yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday. And we said there's some support levels and liquidity sitting right at the bottom here, and the markets could just sweep it down to that liquidity lows, because you got to remember, these institutions, they're loading up for the long term. That's why they're still buying at over 100K. I mean, there's still more buy pressure, and there's way more demand than there is supply. And I think there's an obvious level of demand across the world. It's not just, in certain sections of the world. I mean, it's kind of now, across the board, Bitcoin is getting world attention, with a lot of the fiat-based economies that have central banks are getting into legislation to be able to hold Bitcoin, to make institutions easier for them to hold Bitcoin. So all this like short-term price action, it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, because if you think about previous cycles before, there were 3, 4, 5, 30%, 35% shakeouts before it ends up going to its inevitable peak. So times like this, I think it's important to zoom out. We have to go macro. And honestly, this is just, if you think about it, this is like Shibman is, shout out to Shibman. He said Binance just destroying, dumping like there's no tomorrow. So it's really, it's Binance and Coinbase that are just taking advantage of the leverage. They're taking advantage of high leverage. And the fact that they know this high leverage is coming in, whether it be 50x to between 50 and 100x, and even, the 20, 30, 40x leverage, those are the first to go, as those 50x, 100x leverage. And you can see here, just let me move myself over to this side. You can see the leverage was smacked. We had a lot of liquidations that were going to happen with the longs. We had people FOMO longing into some of these ranges. If we go to the 24-hour, we had people FOMO longing up here in the 117, 116 area. We had people FOMOing all in between 118. So a lot of those trades got destroyed. They got rocked a little bit. So we have to let the market flush out all that high leverage. This also lines up and gives opportunity for any of the issuers for ETFs, whether it be for Ethereum and also Bitcoin. They get to scoop up more Bitcoin at a better price. People like Michael Saylor, they're buying Bitcoin still at these prices, a lot of them. So he bought less this time. Michael Saylor bought a little less Bitcoin, but he's still buying. I think, the selling pressure still isn't like as heavy to be able to signal that like, oh, we're going to go down for like weeks and weeks and weeks. They're just, the inflows are still there. We even had some selling pressure right here in the beginning of the month, and we still were able to, and you could see, look, you could say, oh no, they're going to start selling for weeks. And then look, then the entire week they started inflowing and started getting back into an inflow. Now they're just, yesterday, just a little sell off. And then, but on Monday, they were still buying, they bought, sold a little bit. So I think they're probably just taking advantage of a little bit of the volatility. We have quote, uncertainty if we're going to have a ceasefire or some type of deal made with Russia and Ukraine, with Trump at being as the mediator. So there's a lot of, speculation. This is my theory, that Trump is actually trying to be the true third party mediator between Putin and Zelensky. And Putin, I think, has now agreed to actually meet with Zelensky. I think it's always been Zelensky who does not want to meet with Putin. I think obviously Zelensky has a lot more, anger towards Putin than say Putin does towards Zelensky. So I think there's a lot more emotional ties with Zelensky being able to meet with Putin. He just doesn't want, I don't think he truly doesn't want to. But in order for the killing to stop and the dying to stop, and if they want to have any type of semblance of a resolution, they have to meet. So I think Trump is facilitating this. Trump is facilitating Zelensky meeting with Putin, with their team. Obviously, it's not like they're going to be in a room by themselves and then they get to duke it out. But I think that the fact that Trump will be in this meeting with the two countries, I think this might be the only way that we actually get it solved. So I am just praying that that can actually happen, because I truly believe it will have a good positive, it will have a positive response in the markets. That uncertainty of war and a continuation will be squashed, and people will be front running and trying to, get money into the markets by that happening. Feds are cutting the rates a few times this year. And so this, I think, should keep you pretty neutral bullish. I wouldn't say be like mega super hard, like insane, but just, it's always good to be a healthy neutral bullish. Just be neutrally bullish. And that might help you with your mental, with stuff like this. Because, I know you guys, you're probably like 60% altcoins right now. You're probably 60% altcoins, and this is why you're like, so anytime Bitcoin goes down, even 5%, your portfolio gets destroyed. It gets smashed. But if, like I said, if you do believe in where we're going for the long term here, then we can have these opportunities as buy opportunities. So real quick, speaking of buy opportunities, let's go to danocrypto.com. Make sure you go to danocrypto.com. We're constantly updating this website. This is our hub for everything that we do, even including like our music stuff and any type of products or things that we'd want you to check out. Right now, we have launched and will be constantly updating this course. It is a crypto beginners course, and there's going to be, the first time you buy it, one-time purchase, you'll be able to take the course as many times as you want. There will be things that will be added and updated as bonuses. So make sure if you actually do buy the course, you continue to go to the website and you continue to go into it, because it'll always still provide value for you. There'll be added sections. So it's really cool. So it's like, I think, if you end up, directing someone to this crypto course and you want them to get really good value, they're going to pay $50 and they're going to be able to take the course, but then also continue to be a part of the community inside of here that'll be led into the Discord. And I'll just be adding stuff constantly to this, new sections, bonus sections. It'll just be a work in progress, which I think is really cool. But all right, let's look at the crypto bubbles for today. So today on the daily in the top 100, everything pretty much got hit in the red. The only things that are up on the daily still is Mantle and OKX's token, their exchange token. Yeah, 4% on the token. And then Mantle has 4.2%. Then we also we have Pump down 11%. What's down the most as well? We got Aerodrome was doing really well yesterday. So I think anything that was really in the green yesterday or the day before, taking a little bit of a plunge, taking a little bit of a cool off. Got ENA down 4%. But yeah, on the week, we see that OKX exchange token started to pump. I'm not exactly sure why. If there's specific news of why we had 165% pump on this token, maybe we should watch other exchange tokens and see what's going on. But I just think about exchange tokens and I think about FTT and I'm like, oh, it's like definite shell shock, post-traumatic stress, for a lot of people when it comes to exchange tokens, believing in an exchange in general. But on the month, we've had the Hex, the Pulse Chain ecosystem has seen a lot of action. We're getting a lot of bridge action, a lot of money running into Pulse Chain. So we're keeping our eye on the Pulse Chain ecosystem. We're watching Richard Hart's moves. What is he going to do with his mass marketing campaign for Pulse Chain? What is this physical item that he's going to be sending to hundreds of thousands of people? I don't know. Probably a thumb drive. Probably something as simple as a thumb drive, loaded with these tokens, and then a brief explanation of how to of how to use them. Maybe it could be that easy. We'll have to see. But yeah, we're building up the bag. We're building up some Pulse Chain. We're, a little small bag, nothing crazy. We're DCAing into PLSX, which is the DEX, kind of like the Uniswap of Pulse Chain. Then we have Hex, which is, the where you can stake the Hex. Apparently supposed to be a better Bitcoin, right? But I don't know. Then we have PDAI, which is the parity of a stable coin and a community that exists on Pulse Chain that thinks that PDAI can eventually peg to $1. So there's that rabbit hole you can go down. And then incentive token is actually the token that you're rewarded for providing liquidity on PulseX. So whenever you start to kind of go down that rabbit hole, you start to do some DeFi, some decentralized finance. You can provide liquidity on certain pairs, which then gives you these LP tokens. Then what you do is you take the LP tokens and then you farm inside of here. So you add liquidity, you see the pairs, so you add liquidity inside of INC and PLS, then you connect your wallet, then you can start farming with your tokens. And I tested this out, and the yield was pretty decent. It was a lot better last year, and honestly the year before. I was able to generate some decent incentive token yield. It's a little bit lower now, but it'd be worth possibly taking a portion if you do have some assets in the ecosystem, and you can create some liquidity because you're going to get a percentage of the fees, but then also you're going to generate some incentive. You're going to earn some incentive token because you can see you're harvesting incentive, and then you're also betting on incentive itself, the token doing really well. And if you have been farming incentive and you're also earning, yield, I mean, you can kind of have a nice little DeFi thing running in the background, and then you wait till next year when things are just absolutely going parabolic and things have gone up hundreds and hundreds of %. Then you go back here and you start to look at this and you go, whoa, 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 whoa. And I believe, Squirrely, if I'm not mistaken, you can earn. There's some type of earning mechanism that I think will be happening with Berachain, and also with you can stake your ticker Bitcoin on Berachain. I think there's pairs inside of what I can't remember what the DEX is on Berachain. I can probably look it up really, really fast if I just go to Berachain and then go to protocols. It's Kodiak. That's what it is. Yes. I think with Kodiak, there are some pairs or some farms or some pools in there where I think you can use ticker Bitcoin and earn some yield. Don't quote me on that. I'm just going off of memory of what I've seen on the timeline. But then also, ticker Bitcoin is working on their own layer 2 of Berachain called blockchain. And there are probably going to be some staking incentives on there as well, some type of thing. And you can also just add liquidity, yeah. On Uniswap, if you want to, you can just add liquidity, but it all comes with its risk. You got impermanent loss. There's just things that can happen when you're providing liquidity. You just have to take that into account because some things can get weird. Like if your price goes down or the price goes down below what like right off the top of my head, I can't explain the tokenom like the way that it works, but there's just a way that you can lose your money. Still, it's not super stable and it's not risk free to provide liquidity, because you can experience an impermanent loss, and then whenever you take the liquidity out, if you end up going below a certain price, you're not getting all of the token and all the stuff that you got back. That's just a warning, because I did that with Sol and Ponky, and it went below a certain price, and I ended up losing a portion of the token because of either the slippage of the price compared to the liquidity that was provided. Yeah. So some people will go in with thousands of dollars and like, oh yeah, I'm gonna earn some yield, and then they're like, what just happened? They're like, what the hell just happened? Well, that's what happened. If you're trying to, so it's not risk free. Sometimes it might just be better just holding the token. You just DCA and hold the token, and you don't have to kind of play that particular game. But if you can figure it out, and you know that there are those risks and you can manage it, then go ahead and try it. All right, so let's get into the news. My friends. So Anthony Scaramucci tells CNBC that Bitcoin is going to $200,000 this year. He says there's a lot more demand than supply. So that's what we were thinking the same thing. It wouldn't make any sense that these institutions, the BlackRocks, even though they're selling a little bit, they're looking 10, 15, 20 years down the line. They have a master plan, I'm sure, that they've been working on for a long time. But they needed some more trust. They needed more maturity for Bitcoin to play out. They were watching on the sidelines. They had all the things to say about it. And now they have no choice but to play along. But because they have more liquidity than we do, and they can just basically have money out of thin air in the trillions, so when people say that they have control over it now, in a sense, they have control over it when it comes to the liquidity. And just the amount that they can buy. They're able to just buy up thousands and thousands and thousands of coins, and also the same with Ethereum. So, in a sense, we need them to be able to make price go up with the liquidity. Because, essentially retail doesn't have the capabilities of doing this. There's, unless we're buying with debt, not a lot of people just have extra bulk, a stack of bulk of cash just sitting around. People are trying to just kind of, they're getting by. They're, maybe they're making exactly what they need, and they might have $100 left over, and they are most likely going to go out and spend that on a weekend or going out to eat or something like that, and they're not investing. The institutions have that liquidity. They know where the money's going. This is why it's all going on chain. We're just kind of seeing the fusion and the dying off of a lot of the different traditional financial modalities, and it's going on chain. So this is why I am going to be super bullish crypto, just way more macro for the long term, because of the story and the sentiment. Everything's it's completely different now. So in that sense, it's different, because it's different this time. It's different this time. It really is. It might just be different this time that we get way more liquidity coming in to the game. This time around, which extends the cycle, breaks the 4-year cycle. And I understand how you could say, well, that was the top coming into a particular 530-day average of going into the Bitcoin halvings. I get it. That's why there are some people that say this is the doom. This is it. That was it. 124. But Anthony Scaramucci thinks that it's going to $200,000 this year. We've kind of thought the same thing. We're going to hit 150. We'll go back down to 120. And and then by the end of the year, or by possibly quarter one, I think more quarter one, everyone gets surprised, sidelined, and thought they were calling the top. But let's see.
How are you thinking about Bitcoin right now? We're looking at the price tag right about $115,000. You know, we've had conversations probably when Bitcoin was at $15,000. Right now, in your mind, what's the window? What's the base case, and how high can it go from here?
I mean, listen, there's been pain and euphoria in the Bitcoin markets over the last 5 years. I think what's happening now is lots of consolidation and institutional adoption. So if you went to a conference like this 3 years ago, it was mostly retail investors and CEOs working in the layer 1 blockchain space. Today, it's lots more institutional investors. So that's finally starting to happen. If you look at the numbers on something like the BlackRock ETF, the OURBIT ETF, you can see now, Andrew, there's lots of institutions coming in. So what's interesting is that some of the whales have been selling. So I know I've seen your interviews with Michael Novogratz and the 80,000 Bitcoins that sold last month. And so there's a consolidation story happening. There's a change of ownership story happening. But I think we're going higher just because you just look at the math. There's just way more demand than issued supply of Bitcoin or existing overall supply in the marketplace. So we still maintain our price target between 180 and 200,000 by year end, and I think that's a cautious price target. By the way, I think there are people that are way above us those levels, but I just think it's a function of buying and only 450 Bitcoins being made by the network per day.
So he's bullish. So guys like this, they always, like when it gets volatile and it's starting to dips, like, it's like the just like went down 115. Yes, accuse. I don't know what happened, but it says exchanges, whoever in which exchanges manages crypto with an I. Yeah, I'm not sure what exchange that is. That's a terrible name though for a crypto exchange if that was the name. But don't keep spamming the same comment though, please. I don't want to have to ban you. But yeah, what do you guys think? Are you on the case with Scaramucci? Are you on the case with Scaramucci? Are you thinking that it's going to go to $200,000 by this year? It's definitely possible. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. It does match up though, because we have our price targets too. I mean, it's pretty conservative. We said, we're getting that sideways consolidation that ultimately happens. We got stopped. I think we got stopped out a little bit sooner than we wanted to. We wanted to crush through this 1618 and kind of establish that as the spot where we would consolidate, but we ended up consolidating at 124. And so this, if you look at it in terms of price structure, we had a run up from here. If you're looking at it right here, we had a run up here, consolidated, bottomed out, we ran up. Now we're consolidating, going sideways, going sideways. Hopefully we bottomed out here because you can see the same thing happened here. We had two bottoms, a bottom out, and then you can see we have if we want to look at, we have a bottom here, and then we got a bottom here. Hopefully, I don't know how much more lower we can go. We could go to 113, but we're at least seeing a bottom and a bottom. And then the last time we did that, we went up 22%. We went up 22%. So from there, if we go up 22%, that brings me to, oh my gosh, it brings me to that first, we'll probably hit that 128,000 and then we go to that next level. But it establishes the next staircase. So they're like staircases. Plan B on his stock to flow model chart represents the staircase in dots, kind of representing like how it just goes and then establishes it. It's just consolidation, redistribution, and then new whales buying. Because before, you got to remember, like, there's the old whales that were accumulating for years and years. They believed in Bitcoin 10, 13 years ago. These people are now needing to sell coins to ease off some of the supply to the new whales. So even though because we saw for weeks the whales were waking up. It was just like all of the old whales were resurfacing to then sell to the new whales, which is a good thing. But then there's still the old whales that are holding supply, and then and hopefully we just have more demand and buying pressure, less selling pressure, more people holding the coin. There's less that's going to be able to be mined over time because of the Bitcoin halving, which decreases the rewards for the miners. And so this is all good. We just have to be patient. That's just all the thing is, like, we just have to be patient and know this is more of a long play of accumulation. And even though there's going to be intraday trading and sideways action, inflows, outflows, and things like that, you know, the fact that they're adding this to 401ks, they're making it easier for, you know, even retail to get adoption, but also making it extremely easy for institutions now to get adoption, then you have to value this thing in the next 10 years to be going close to $1 million per coin. And then you have to think about the nature of the layer ones and the stable coins, what they're going to be using. You know, that's what we have to keep on the radar, my friends. And speaking of layer twos and layer ones and things like that, so their SHIB was focused for a little while. There was a lot of noise about Shibarium, the layer 2 for Shiba Inu, and apparently the devs and the ecosystem and the projects were not aligned with the original Shiba Inu like ethos and how they wanted to handle things. So they've separated themselves from Shibarium. So they are not affiliated with Shibarium anymore. They are not really going to be, I guess, associated with them, and they're going to focus and shifting focus instead, and they're going to be really like pushing for utility inside of the Shiba Inu ecosystem. So I'm curious to see kind of, you know, where they're going to go with this and how this could bring attention and possibly new adoption into the Shiba Inu token. I don't know. Are you guys bullish on Shiba Inu? Do you like Shiba Inu? I know, you know, the SHIB community is really loud too. Like, just like the, you know, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, you know, the dog, you know, the OG dog coins still have a very loud communities. And you don't want to fade the potential of what these things can do once we do see Ethereum break all-time highs, which is just, I mean, it's right around the corner. It's literally right around the corner. I mean, I know we got rugged. We basically got rugged. You know, we all were thinking finally ETH is going to break all-time highs, and now we're just trending right back down. And I even said it. I said, look, they could give us the all-time high, or they're going to range us right back down into 4,100, and everyone's going to just be really upset. So that's kind of what happened. Is now everyone's like, okay, ETH Foundation again, rugging us. All the people on, you know, going on TV telling us that ETH is going to be at 10K. You know, right when we're up here, they're like, ETH is going to 10K, and then, but it's okay. We all have to punish ourselves and buy Ethereum at you know, at these levels at 4,000. It's just part of the process, you know. If we truly want ETH to go to where I think it's going to be going, I think a safe bet we've said for Ethereum is going to be the first 1618, which is $5,741. We just hit dinosaur scaled ancient resistance of Ethereum from previous all-time highs. This has just been resistance of our nightmares right here, this area. So it's yeah. Ozzy, relax. Guys, you lost your mind. Okay, so question. Are we doomed? No, we're not doomed. No, we're not doomed. We are not doomed. Let's keep going through the news. This is funny. This is funny. Imagine the possibilities if you just hold Wojak. So this could be your future. This could be all our futures. It says 500,000 McDonald's workers resigned suddenly because they were all holding Wojak. If only every single McDonald's employee could just start watching low budget films and all of the Wojak content. Like if we go to low budget stories, the low budget stories for certain jobs and certain it's so good. All right, let's watch this one. This is actually about to be my life. I hope it won't. I hope it's not.
Morning.
Morning.
Getting ready for work?
Yes.
Work while you still can, kid. Before you know it, you'll be replaced.
We are all Wojak, by the way. Oh man, too good. But yeah, I think retail, they really need to find low budget stories, and then hopefully it leads them to Wojak, at least the correct Wojak. Let's be clear. So I want to make sure it's, do my due diligence here. This was the Wojak coin that came out at the exact same time as Pepe. And also got to remember that ticker Bitcoin also came out pretty much like 2 weeks after Pepe and Wojak were released. And those were the three coins that I have still are still my favorite. Out of all the meme coins that have been released and have been pushed into my face on CT, Pepe, Wojak, and ticker Bitcoin are still my favorite. It's the ones that I think are the OG classic, like legacy meme coins for Ethereum in terms of this particular type of meme coin. And I think honestly, if I'm gonna judge which meme retail will understand and resonate with the most is the Wojak character. That's just my personal. That's just from a retail standpoint and how they're gonna view stuff and relate to it. I think Wojak. I think what'll make them laugh the most probably would be Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu. That one will be the funniest one because I've gotten the most compliments and laughs from my Ticker Bitcoin shirt. And what's funny is it doesn't even say Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu on it. It's just the Sonic with the 10 and the whole like vibe of it and the colors. It's very attractive and people go, oh, that's a dope shirt. It's a badass shirt. Like, what is that? And then I tell them, and then they laugh even more when I say Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu, and they tell me to say it again. They go, what? They go, what? They go, what did you say? So that's hilarious. That's just funny to me. That is hilarious, and it's the funniest way to explain a meme coin to someone. So that's why I think the ticker's got that for it. It's just funny, It's the colors, the allure, and then you go into the backpack, and if they already know about the backpack lore, that's already cool enough. But then once they learn, then you're like, whoa, get pitted, bro. Okay, let's continue through the news. Now, we were talking about Pulse Chain. This is how a lot of Pulse Chain people feel. And we got some news to cover. We got a couple things. The Pulse Chain sacrifice phase was in summer 2021, 1,476 days ago. That's how I feel like about holding some coins or being bullish on certain things. Like, wait a second, that was like I was talking about that how long ago? And I'm like, but yeah, it's okay. You have to believe. You have to believe in something. You have to go through these moments of pain, suffering. Just one more day. Just one more day and we'll finally pump. But I don't know. I don't know. Gosh, my camera looks like terrible, guy. I look like a green monster. What is going on with my camera? I need to get this fixed. You can even like I don't know what's going on. Like, my camera is just being really terrible. I don't know why it's so green. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to fix it. I don't know. That might be even worse. Yeah, something's up with my camera. I don't know what the heck happened. But it looks like garbage. Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys coming into today's live stream. Thank you for hitting that like button. We almost got 10 likes. We have 87 people watching on X. I do appreciate you guys watching on X as well. Let's see. In other news, Nakamoto Games is showcasing Naka at Gamescom. So Gamescom is the world's largest event for computer and video games. It's Europe's leading business platform for games industry. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, Gamescom 2025. It's the world's largest gaming fair alongside our partners, Polygon. So that's what's super cool. Like, they're like, this is why I'm bullish Polygon ecosystem. Polygon ecosystem is really bullish crypto gaming, and they're always, wherever there is anything to be involved with the infrastructure and the ecosystem with crypto gaming, they are there. So I'm bullish Naka. I'm bullish Polygon, the Pol ecosystem, the Pol token. So for the entire length of Gamescom, Naka is powered gaming ecosystem will be streamed and showcased live at the Polygon VIP Games Night in front of more than 400,000 industry leaders and gaming fans. So They are trying to get in front of a lot of people. And so this is pretty cool. So yeah, I love seeing stuff like this with tokens that we've been bullish on. We've actually displayed this platform and this dashboard for you guys a bunch of times. If you remember, they have their own in-house built games, and then they also have AAA games that other studios are helping them also build inside the Naka universe. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. So that's bullish on that. Let's see. And soon we were supposed to have Halloween on the live stream. We're gonna have him on hopefully this week. We did terrible planning. We gotta make that happen. So watch out for that. This is how some people feel. This is how some people feel right now, but it's okay. All right, make sure you guys follow me on TikTok. Just trying to build up the TikTok. We have 57 followers. And also, same with YouTube. You know, we are trying to get to 4,000 subscribers, and it's been a little tricky. It's been a little tricky because we were at 3,758, and then we went down to 3,754. So, yeah, we went down in subscribers. So help me get back up to where we just were. We had this interesting comment. I don't know what you guys got to tell me what you think if you agree with this. Rick Brock said, people still haven't figured out BTC cycles. BTC cycles are over. The banks and Wall Street are involved. They don't do cycles. They buy low, sell higher, same week, repeat. BlackRock handles 750K BTC. They don't own it. They make money holding it for their clients that give them monthly money to do so. Everyone who owns the ETF would get out till next halving. That's not happening. So this 5-wave cycle is almost done, may even be done, and is headed to top of 5th wave, maybe 135, or we hit it already, and then we retrace to 82 or so and start over later this year to just move higher, probably 200K. So there will be no altcoin season. You missed it. It's over. Banks own BTC now, one coin to control them all. What do you think about that? I thought that was a pretty bold statement. And Rick Brock seems like he knows this 100% to be true. What do you guys think? No altcoin season? It's over? We'll just have to see. We will have to see. But all right, we'll do a quick portfolio breakdown, and then we are going to end the live stream. We really appreciate you guys tuning in today. We're going to keep these, live streams nice and concise, nice and short. We've been live streaming way too long. I think 2 hours is a little crazy. I think it's appropriate to keep things, pretty, tight. Get it, get what we need to talk about. Just go through and not be super ADD, ADHD. Okay, portfolio breakdown. The past 24 hours inside of our portfolio, the thing that has been performing pretty decent has been the Medieval Empires token, the ME token, so that's up 3%. XYO is holding pretty just kind of steady, just kind of holding flat. Nakamoto Games, the past 7 days was down 9%, but kind of holding pretty, just flat on the daily here. Bitcoin down 2%, on the week down 5%. Solana down 2%, 3% on the day. Pepe down 2.9%. Crow down 2.3%. Ethereum down 3.7%. Mutable down 3.6%. Optimism down 3.3%. AVAX down 3.6%. Ponky down 3.3%. Polygon, the Pulse ecosystem, on the 7-day up 2%, and up a little bit on the hourly here, but was on the daily down 4%. Doge hit, pretty hard. So, actually some of my favorite tokens were the ones that got hit the hardest, like Polygon 4%, Dogecoin 4%, Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu down 4%, Arbitrum got hit, was down 4%, but recently was doing really good. You can see on the weekly, up 5%, and then on the monthly was up over 20%, and then Brett got hit pretty hard, 4%. But yeah, so if your portfolio is looking like it dipped pretty hard, could be good opportunities to just be DCAing, buying the dips. And I just suggest, not financial advice, but whenever you say you have $500 and you want to buy some crypto, probably don't spend the entire $500 on that day. Maybe just do 100. And I know it's hard to do that, because I think what a lot of people will end up doing is they just go, oh, I'm just going to buy $500 of crypto all in the same day. And a lot of the times what ends up happening is that was when it was a green day and it was euphoric and it felt good to buy. Everyone was like telling you, getting you super bullish. And then 3 days later, it goes down 10%, 15%. And you're like, son of a gun. I could have, spread out a little bit of my DCAing purchases through the week, because it's going to fluctuate. So you take $100 each day and just do it like that. Then you get a better spread, I feel. Kind of gives you just a little bit more flexibility in the average price that you're trying to get. So just a word of advice. But yeah, my friends, thank you again for tuning in. Just as a reminder here, we haven't peaked in euphoria yet, how we did in 2021. Will we get there? I hope so. If we have this trend line here, if we were to draw a trend line here, we should by the next like 6 months to a year should be trending back up and hitting some spikes up in this area. This is the past 5 years of interest in, search for Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Pepe, crypto. We're starting to get back up, but interest for Bitcoin. It needs to say number 1 United States. We need to have it to where it's number 1 in United States over the past 12 months. It should be. We should be the top search, but Americans are just we're not there yet. We're not there yet. It's actually pretty sad where we're at in the list here in the past 7 days. Worldwide searches for all these terms, we're ranked 36. We got to step it up. But, all right, my friends, thank you again for tuning in. Just a reminder, make sure you are following me at Dano Crypto 904 on X, and make sure you are going to danocrypto.com. This is where you can actually get the really nice visuals of the crypto bubbles. You can see what anything that I've released recently. You can see I have a link tree. So the link tree will give you all the necessary links and things that I would want you to click on. And if you want to check out some cool music, also you can click on the music section. And this is where you can find all things that are happening Dano Crypto. Yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And we will see you on the next live stream. Peace out.